his name, but the one that knew everything about Fish Tank.
Tylo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That dude was a big fan.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
And he's like, he swings for us so hard. Like,
you should invite Taylor as a fish on Fish Tank.
Taylor, if you want to get into like a gimp suit and chase people around with a taser, I got you, man.
You hear that, Taylor? Get on Fish Tank. Gimp shoot, taser.
Translation: I'm kicking you off the show. Effective immediately, we'll be walking you out, taking you to a bus station in Fall River, and saying goodbye.
Like, it's one of the most popular competitive PC games. That and Dota.
Is that one of those games where Japanese guys get stabbed if they're too good? Have you seen that? The internet cafes where
like
people just show up and fucking make it happen in real life?
I have heard stories about that where it's like, Korean stabs, well, other Korean, they're in Korea, over, being killed in Tarkov. And it's like, my God, like
Korean on Korean violence is bad.
Any kind of violence is bad. And that's the official take of our show. All violence is bad, unless it's in the ring.
Woody has the whole thing.
Woody has a whole thing.
It's
have
cool.
A whole thing. Yeah.
He has a whole mantra.
No, you shouldn't be able to use any words you want. There are fighting words, and the Supreme Court agrees with me. Violence is sometimes appropriate.
There's definitely limits, obviously, to free speech. Like, you don't want people yelling fire and nonsense like that. Yeah. But at the same time,
so stupid. You would not fool me yelling fire in a crowded theater. I'm also in the theater. Like, no, I've always thought that. Wait. Like, you think I'm fucking retarded? No. You're just trying to get the whole theater
free. The building's on fire. I'm running into your theater.
This guy's trying to get head. That's what's happening, everyone.
You work in advertising, and I think I might be able to win you over. We'll see.
All right.
One guy yells fire. 85% of the theater is fooled. They all stand up and start like rushing and stampeding to the doors. Are you sure you sit there, arms folded, and say, I don't see no fire?
100%. Because I have the wherewithal that if someone yelled fire in a crowded theater, it would be such a, like, this is happening?
I'd get down.
Like, and then
yeah,
like
I think I might get down.
7, 10, 14 more people also yell fire. They didn't see the fire, but they're like, what? Fire, fire, fire. Now I'm doing my part to help everybody out.
I would think someone's trying to get me to run out of here so they can gun me down. So I'm going to get down low. If things ever get bad, I'm going out the emergency exit right over there. But there's no way I'm funneling into a group of people because someone yelled.
No,
what
you do is yell smoke, and then Easy Company can come out. They know it's safe. Yeah,
isn't it Thunder and Flash?
I don't fucking know. I don't know what it is.
Right?
Everyone says that movies make it seem like there's a lot of quicksand out there. Let me tell you what else. Movies make it seem like there's midgets everywhere. I've only ever seen one in the wild. Okay,
that can't be true. More than that.
How many have you seen?
Oh, in the dozens. Certainly not one.
What's a midget?
Dozens.
Okay, maybe 15, 18.
Because I've
only ever seen one.
I feel like I could go to some populated place right now, like a college campus, and find someone under 5 foot. What does it take to be a midget?
Not a short little girl. I'm talking
like
about
4'6" or something. There's an actual cutoff.
Forget the cutoff, though. Let's be real here. You know it when you see it. All right, when you see it, there will be no question. Okay, that's a little guy. Okay,
there are no question little people. I agree.
Pornography.
But tell me you haven't seen a girl who's like 4'8" and be like, she's on the spectrum of
4'8" is crazy little.
That is very short. But you can tell the difference between a tiny little short person proportionally and like a dwarf, someone with dwarfism.
Fingers.
Like you can tell
Their knees
you
can't
can tell.
touch.
Is that thing they can't touch their knees?
They get bow-legged a lot. It's a
Yeah.
common.
Oh, I guess that's
Dwarfism.
true. Yeah, it makes you even shorter. Damn.
I wonder if
Your
there's
legs
fewer,
are taking the long way around.
are there
Yeah, that's
fewer
awesome.
dwarves in it, that's a genetic trait, right? Like the likelihood or whatever. Like if you eliminated all the dwarves, would there be more? You wouldn't get rid of all
No, we-
dwarves, but be fewer dwarves.
Mining
right?
cultures evolved into it.
Mm.
But now since
I'm
we
just
mine
thinking-
more with bots, more with AI,
How the women
there's
get
no need.
beards.
Taller. I was
Yeah.
just thinking. I know that Hitler, like, no jokes, like exterminated a lot of dwarves, and I was wondering, now today in Germany, are there fewer dwarves than say in a non-purged country?
I don't know because it would, or I don't know. Maybe it's different genetic populations
think they-
everywhere. So I would imagine there's different propensities in different genetic populations for dwarfism.
Do you think they had like a tiny gas chamber for them?
No,
It was just a piece of
probably.
oven.
It's just
Same-
the
same.
same thing.
They just
Yeah,
they
did-
put
did
them
he
on that
hate
little
dwarves?
pizza flat
just-
tray, slide them in.
Jesus. Did he actually hate dwarves?
My understanding of the Holocaust is he was getting rid of everyone who wasn't that able-bodied, pure Aryan, future race. So gypsies, the mentally disabled, like lots of people fell under the yoke
Man,
of that. You know,
I feel like dwarves would have gone under the radar, like, and not been noticed as much. Better hiders.
Do we need hiding in the future?
No, I was saying that they could hide from the Nazis more.
Oh, I
effectively.
understand.
Probably.
Yes, that's how they would survive.
Mhm.
Ah, I wouldn't take a dwarf in. I find them unsettling to look at. I've only seen the
You
one.
only had the one experience. Don't. And was it a Peter Dinklage dwarf or was it a Vern Troyer dwarf?
I
There's a real
remember
difference.
I was in like Universal Studios Orlando, Florida, and I was right next to Emeralds. Here this fucker came waddling along, sausage fingers and all. And I just thought, look, it's the first midget I've ever seen in real life. I've seen some of the little people in wheelchairs, I think maybe, but this one was able-bodied. He could get around. And
Able-bodied
I
is
made
a
a wish.
You made a wish, and
Yeah.
it came true. I never saw another one.
You can't beat an English minute. Xbox
They've got extra
talk.
vocabulary words.
Yes, sir. You're probably right about me.
You just have to, like, we don't, like, the way to get them is the Don, like, was the Don Draper shit
I don't think
of
I've
being
seen it
like, I don't think about you at all, like that level of shit, because they spend infinitely more time thinking about us than we spend thinking about them. They live in
for sure.
our world of media.
Absolutely.
We don't live in
We won the
theirs.
culture.
They-
We won the cultural victory. All of Europe is ours. Most of South America is ours. And everybody who isn't us wants to be us. We won that cultural war. They'll sit there and talk shit about us on devices made and crafted by us. You know what I
Hate
mean?
us because they ain't us.
they hate us because they ain't us. Oddly attractive man. I think he had worked
He is
as
oddly-
a
and he had
model.
a sexy accent. Where's he from?
Yeah, he's got some sort of a UK accent. It's a little rough.
Oh, that's sexy as hell, brother.
Well, he makes up for it by being 6'4", male model and racing Lamborghinis in his spare time.
Has he got soot on his cheeks from his side hustle? You know,
That guy.
It
wasn't
Mary
his, but-
Poppins reference.
This is basically that's what that voice sounds like.
Brian Cox. I don't think you're supposed to. Maybe this is a personality flaw of mine. I often identify with the bad guys in movies, and I want them to win. Not all of them. I'm glad we got Thanos. Fuck him, you know. But like, come on, Brian Cox just wants to make money and wants to win.
What did Thanos want to do? It seems to me from the outside that he was like, we got to
Kills
an
get
half the
environmentalist.
population
we got to
of the
get half of the
universe.
universe in order to make sure the universe keeps going.
Why
right?
didn't he just
He's an
snap a
environmentalist.
lot of double the food? Why don't he double the food with his?
Was
snap?
that possible?
Yes, anything was possible.
You teach
Damn,
a
what
man
a
of
stupid fucking
you
movie.
teach a man to fish, you feed him. No, you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You kill the man, he's never hungry again.
So there was literally in the Marvel universe, he could have just doubled the food or doubled the space.
Yeah.
He could
God,
do
what
anything.
a retarded story. What a fucking brain dead, stupid. There wasn't even something baked into the plot to prevent that as like a
So here's the
backwards
population double.
Well, the problem was
Wow.
they co-opted the comics
I'm
and they
fucking glad
changed
these
the
are going
reason.
away.
They changed the reasoning for him doing the snap in the
Okay.
movies versus the
what was the
comics.
reasoning? He was mad.
In the comic books, death itself is a being, and he wants to fuck her. She's like the hottest chick in the universe, and she is death incarnate. Is this sexy bitch, and he wants to blow her mind by giving her half the fucking universe worth of people as deadlings, whatever, however that works. He wants to get his dick wet. That's all it's about. That's the whole thing. But in the cinematic universe, it's this whole thing about everything is balanced or whatever. Like no, it's silly. He wants to get fucked. That's all it's about.
Both of those are really stupid motivations.
You haven't seen her. She's hot.
One of them is. I'll let you decide.
Yeah, exactly. Show us
One of
Lady,
them's dumber than the other.
show us Lady Death. I think she's got just like massive knockers that, I mean, there's no gravity in space. So you can only imagine.
Can he
Those things
snap
held up.
any woman he wants tits bigger? Seems like that's a possibility, right?
It's her personality he's
Taylor's
into.
This is
What's
stupid.
Death's personality? How great
This is
can it be?
stupid.
I wouldn't be talking shit about Death if I were you. Is all I know.
I will
Man.
talk shit about Marvel movie Death as
come
much
the
as I
fuck
want.
Thanos was right.
Look at her. She's all
Yeah.
fucking dirty.
That's the whitest woman I've ever
Got
seen.
Hep C, blood diseases.
No, she's
Yeah, but okay. So this guy could snap any woman to look like that on Earth, and he doesn't do that.
Well, he doesn't live on Earth. He lives on
So-
Titan.
I think you've.
Cool. But
When I
they
was a
don't
little
hurt-
kid, my mom like leaned too hard on the "don't be afraid of bees" thing when I was like a young kid, to the point that like I had not even a vaguely healthy fear of bees. Like I knew wasps were the skinny ones, and all I understood about them was like they can sting forever. Steer clear of them. But I thought that like bees, you had to like actively try to kill them for them to sting you, because my mom put it in my head like
That's like
and so
half right.
I had like a level of morality imposed on bees where I'm like, they will know I'm here to like try and catch them. And I did catch bees
Wait.
for
to be their friend.
to be their friend, to be like my dad and mom used to tell this story. They'd be like, yeah, you would just walk up to us on the patio sometimes when you were like 4 and we'd be like, what do you got, Taylor? And you'd just open your hands and you'd have bees. Like,
Yeah.
or at least a bee, and that stopped when
That didn't
I
spook
remember.
your
I
parents.
used to think Taylor was so smart.
That didn't spook your parents when you like showed them bees.
I guaranteed that it got a reaction, and that's what made me want to do it, probably. But yeah, that stopped when I grabbed like one big fat bumblebee that was on my hot dog, and it stung me.
I remember distinctly. I was about 8 to 10, somewhere in there. Couldn't have been much older, and I caught this little lizard, this little maybe 4 or 5 inches long, and I had it in my hands like this. And I went to my dad. My mom and dad were on the back porch relaxing. I think they're having some drinks. They're just laid back in their chairs, and I think I tossed it on him, and he fell backwards out of the chair, and he beat the shit out of me. I guarantee my mom remembers that ass whooping I took. And I know my dad does. He brought it up a couple years ago. He whipped my ass. I scared the shit out of him with that lizard. Just like, ah!
BlueChew.com, link below, code PKA. Just pay the $5 in shipping, you cheap fuck.
I was thinking probably a lot of our listeners, their dick's not hard enough. Send me an email at mercadurka@hotmail.com and I'll let you know if your dick is hard enough and if you need Blue Chew.
Yes, follow that up by tweeting it at Woody, just to be sure, because that would be a damn shame if you were sending it to a made-up email and no one saw this. So tweet those hard-ass dick pics at Woody so that I can go to his feed and then scroll down and look at them and see. And I'll look and I'll be like, and before afters, please. I need to see what your regular hard dick looks like and then the comparatively hard dick with Blue Chew, and then we're going to show them on the show.
Make sure you email them. Make sure you email them.
Look at this guy. Look at that horrible dick on the left, and look at that beautiful suckable thing on the right.
Having his best day.
Having his absolute best day. Look at, there's still some hot girl spit on it. That's how good of a day that guy's having. Also, lock and load. When your dick's hard as hell from Blue Chew and you're high as shit from a 300 milligram edible, you're going to want to bust, aren't you? So And when you bust, you want to bust hard. And that means taking a supplement that you have to take 5 pills in the morning and 4 at night in order to ensure that you're feeding your body enough essential vitamins, minerals, supplements to spurn your prostate into creating more fluid. More fluid coming out of your cock when you're coming means more pleasure. What's the best part of your orgasm? When you're coming. That's kind of the whole part of it. And so you wish I had a drink. You should probably get a drink. And look at this. Look, simple and easy. It may be 5 pills, but look how easily you can choke them down. No water. If you think for 1 second those are going to dissolve into a weird powder in Woody's mouth, you're insane. Look at that. Look at that's the eyes of someone taking an easy dose of a pill. So check it out. Lock and load. Code PKA, code Jizz. Get yourself 10% off these cum pills. What's the biggest thing you guys have ever killed in your house?
In my house.
Or apartment, whatever.
There was that drifter.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, but he was bad. He was bad.
So I murdered a human one time.
No, he was a good drifter.
He was a great drifter.
Biggest thing I can think of
Annoying
that,
shit. I'm
euthanized
so
a pet
hungry.
rat.
Euthanized it?
Yeah.
I used
That's the word.
Flew him to Sweden.
dry ice, which is frozen carbon dioxide, I think.
And just smashed
And,
him with it.
Yeah, put him in a cooler. And he just falls asleep and then asphyxiates. And apparently it's a kind way to kill a rat. I Googled it.
The nicest way to kill a rat. It just goes sweetly to sleep.
They have a few central characters. One of them is a lawyer who was the guy who stuck it to Jack in the Box back in the day when they killed those kids. You may not know it. Late 70s, early 80s, there was an incident, maybe Ohio and New Jersey, can't remember exactly. Jack in the Box killed some kids, basically.
Whoa.
They undercooked their hamburgers, and the meat had E. coli 0157 in it. And so both of those contributed to a lot of kids dying, hundreds of kids being poisoned. And what you got to understand, this isn't just food poisoning. We've probably all had one kind of E. coli or another.
This was 1992, 1993, by the way. It's
Okay,
called
I
the
thought it was
Great Jack in the Box E. coli outbreak. Sorry.
Yeah, it's this E. coli 0157 stuff is just deadly. Apparently, it goes into your gut and it produces this stuff called Shiga toxin, which then gets in your bloodstream, kills your red blood cells. All those red blood cells make your kidneys failure, and then there's a cascade reaction where it kills one organ after another. And I'm not talking about over weeks and months. One day you have diarrhea, the next day you are in a coma and dying. The third day you are dead. And it happened to tons of children, and they didn't know what it was at first. So there's this delayed reaction, and this lawyer really stuck it to Jack in the Box, got each kid like millions and millions of dollars. Some of them to this day are like, some of these kids have to learn to walk again. Like it's weird neurological nerve damage that they receive from this stuff. And the deal was at that time, E. coli 0157 was just considered something that might be on beef. You know, it's not, if you were to test the beef at the plant and they're like, yeah, E. coli again, well, you know it, pack it up, because it was considered to be the customer's problem at that point. It's like, cook your meat, cook the E. coli out of it. And so what had happened was at those Jack in the Boxes in particular in the Northeast or wherever, they had a regulation that had changed recently that said, you got to cook your burgers to 155 degrees. That's what we want. And they're like, nah, it makes them tough. They said that in a memo, maybe an email. That makes them tough. So they've got them saying, hey, 155 will make our beef healthier and safer. And them going, makes the burgers tough. And then a pile of dead children. So Jack in the Box paid through the fucking nose. And then this documentary goes on to explain why we have these salmonella outbreaks now. And it's because all of the leafy greens on the fucking planet, I'm talking about if you're in Thailand or Japan tonight and you have a romaine salad, it's grown in Arizona. That's where it came from. They grow it in these huge, massive irrigation fields that are right next to the concentrated cattle lots.
Oh,
and
nice. That's convenient.
All of that. And
The
so
CAFOs?
all of that shit and water is flowing out of them down a trough into an irrigation ditch, and that's being spritzed on all of the vegetables that everyone eats. And so all you need is
Extra
one
seasoning.
cow,
Yes.
one cow in that feedlot to get to shit, and it's 0157, and then that shit goes into the water and gets sprayed on one head of lettuce. Then that head of lettuce, you ever buy a spring mix? How many heads of lettuce is that spring mix incorporated into that bag?
A lot.
Are they even from the same field? from the same part of the same state, from the same grower, who knows? You could be covering an acre worth of land. That's the potential for shit being sprayed on your food. And you don't wash romaine lettuce. Who likes a hot salad, right?
Yeah.
So you're rinsing it off, and that doesn't kill the bacteria.
Through the final vote count tomorrow night.
Orange Muslim official
With a Republican president, with Ronald Reagan.
Police said
regardless of the outcome of the election, he's already won an important personal victory. He has the support of millions of followers, and these days, no one calls him a quitter anymore. Tony Clark, CNN, Dallas.